striking nurses brave freezing temperatures, chanting, "Collapse don't pay the bills," and no NHS cuts, with passing cars beeping their horns in support. Thousands of nurses across England are taking part in the two-day walkout as members of the Royal College of Nursing demand better pay and better working conditions.
The work conditions in our hospitals up and down the country are the worst they've ever been. My nursing colleagues have had a 20% pay cut since 2010. With the cost of living crisis, my nursing members no longer can actually go to work to do the job that they're trained to do. We are unable to attract young junior nurses into the profession because the work conditions are appalling.
In 2020, people across the UK took part in the weekly Clap for Carers campaign, saluting NHS staff working during the coronavirus pandemic. 3 years on, frontline health workers say they don't want applause, but a pay rise amid the cost of living crisis in the country.
People were clapping during the pandemic. We went through horrors during the pandemic. No one can, if you haven't lived it in a hospital, you don't know how it was. Collapse don't pay the bill. I think that sums it up.
The NHS is run on goodwill. I think you have to remember that everyone works over and above their hours because there's humans involved. So you never go home if you're needed. So the goodwill, it's on goodwill, but we're human at the same time, and we've been through so much, as has everyone. We've lost colleagues. We've come to work every day when everyone was at home. I would have loved to have been told stay at home, but we came to work because we were needed, and we left our families, and people stayed near the hospital so that they didn't take COVID home. It's like enough is enough. I know that sounds stupid. It's been years and years, but this is it. I think the fact we're here, we haven't striked. We've never striked, and it's taken. No one wants to be here. We want to be looking after patients, but I think we're human, and enough is enough. And I think this is the only way we can be listened to. And I don't know. It's so sad. It makes me want to cry. Like, we are so upset about it.
The nurses are demanding a pay increase of 5% above inflation, meaning a hike of 19%. The government says the demands are unaffordable. The NHS, which has provided healthcare free at the point of use since 1948, is under immense pressure with backlogs and understaffing. With over 40 years of experience as a registered nurse in the UK, Nigerian Juliana Adewuyi says the current situation is driving nurses to other countries.
NHS has been going down for the last couple of years that many of the nurses couldn't tolerate, and they've been going out to other countries, even including myself. I've been to Australia, and I came back, and the condition was even getting worse.
Although the strikes have brought further disruption to the NHS, there's public support for the striking nurses.
I mean, the government's been reducing the standards of the NHS for years by not funding it properly, and now it's come to the kind of crunch point, right? So we need to support the nurses and the whole NHS against the government. The government needs to fund it better, which means funding nurses better. They have a really tough job. We don't support them enough. Clapping's not going to pay their bills, right?
You know, they've got to understand these people, you know, these professionals are, you know, basically saving people's lives, and they need to be credited for it. They're working very long hours, you know, they've got hardly time to see their families. And yeah, you know what? If it's just one day or you know, how many days they need to strike for someone up there, whoever it is, to take notice, then yeah, I'm for it.
Well, for now, it seems that the strikes will continue till further notice. As the RCN says, if no progress is made with the government by the end of this month, then the nurses will strike again on 2 days next month, with NHS leaders warning that it will be one of the biggest days of industrial action in the health service sector industry. From the University College London Hospital, Teniola Tayo for Channels Television News.